Alright guys, got a small coolant leak. So it's coming out of the driver's side. But I'm gonna save myself some time, remove some of this piping, and hopefully I don't need to access the top, but if I do, I'm ready to go. Alright guys, so I'm on the driver's side turbo, and my head is facing after the vehicle. My feet are facing the radiator. So it's that coolant fitting right there. It's leaking out there, coming down here. And what I can't tell, what I'm going to try and do is just get away with that one right there. Oh, everyone says you gotta do them both. I don't see that one to be leaking. That one looks fine. However, it's pretty rigid. And I believe up underneath somewhere, it is maybe even attached to, I can't see, I'm just showing you right now. I think it's attached to maybe like a fitting. So I gotta undo that, right? So anyways, we're gonna try and do what people say can't be done and just do this one by loosening that bracket and not fiddling with that one. However, like I said, I did take off the connections. I just got to take off this down pipe right here so I can get easier access if I do need to mess with this return line in the block right there. So I'll loosen up this pipe and I'll come back to you. All right guys, so I was in the process here taking that off. So I wanted to come over here and took the sensor off here just so that wire's in the way. But we're going to be going for that fitting, and with an extension and a hex head, you'll be able to take that bracket off and totally manipulate this fitting. I was in the process of taking off this pipe for the turbo and then realizing that you can access this with just a little bit of time. So I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so that fitting was a T fitting, and it's a T45. And just to go back up and show you where I came out. So right there, it's going to be tricky to find blind, but we've all done it before. So, alright, we've all been there. Said no one. Okay, so not going to fuck with that fitting. Going to just try and get the one on the turbo right there. Runs up to the block. So next step is to disconnect that Jiffy Tight retainer clip. And so for the sake of this video, I went ahead and purchased a 3/8 Jiffy Tight disconnect. So you slip it around the pipe there and then jam it in, turn it, and it pops your clip out, versus doing it with, hang on, the old pick. So I got an assortment of picks, but I have done this job recently. It was on the driver's side head, and you use a mirror because it's against the firewall. Actually wasn't too bad really. So just, if I would have known about that Jiffy Tight connector, that would have been cool, but I don't even know how well they work. So be right back. Hello, fellow non-believers, even including myself. So I was able to do that, and I know everybody says drain the coolant beforehand because, you know, it'll pour out. And guess what? It does. See? Look, you're able to manipulate it all the way up if you are to take that bracket off. If you don't take that bracket off, you're not popping it out of the fitting, and you're not going to be able to push it up all the way to get the fitting out. So the risk you run into by doing that is if those O-rings in that fitting are shot, well, you know, you'll probably be crawling back under here. I expect to. Anyways, I'd show you that the Jiffy type fitting, that did not work. So I had to use picks, the traditional pick method, and I would show you how, but that takes away all the fun. The only key to it, honestly, is patience. Just be patient, stick with it, you'll get it. And then, yeah, I'm going to throw a 3/4 socket on here and pop this off and throw in a new thing. Maybe if I can clean up that hose right there and pop her back in. Hopefully the fitting out of the block doesn't leak. See you in a bit. Alright guys, so as you can see, that is a pretty, like that O-ring in there. It's usually where it leaks, right? You see that on the inside. I got some new ones, but it's all disintegrated in there. I'm gonna try and clean up that fitting. Take a look with me in here. It doesn't really want to. Alright. So I got that piece out. Just be patient. Just a 3/8 drive, 3/4 socket, 19 mil, 6 point. I don't like 12s. You risk stripping. Anyways, a little bit of rust in there, not too bad. Probably wipe out with a towel. And all the rubber O-ring is disintegrated, so that's where it leaks from. It leaks from the inside. So there's, I mean, still some life. Pretty sad, but I don't know. The one on the back of the head against the firewall was in worse shape than this outside O-ring, but good. So let me crawl from the truck. Hey guys. Okay, so what I'm showing you here, so I was able to really clean up this fitting because I'm going to have to reuse it. So I went in there, threw some brake cleaner in there, some scrub brushes, and my pick, and just really made sure the inside, the internal position for that O-ring is clean. Here's the old O-rings right here. They don't look too bad, maybe on camera, but up close to the personal eyeball, they are horrid. They're very bad. So anyways, just kind of an idea. This part number is not for the block or the turbo. So the B is for the 2 in the back of the head that come off the head and then run to the top of the turbos. I'm just using these for an example. So what I had to do, for some reason on this one, I ordered the correct part, which is the B's, but putting that black hose into the fitting, it did not fit into this new one. So I improvised and I took the new O-rings off of it, took out the old O-rings, and used the original part with the new O-rings, and guess what? It works fine. So I ordered a whole series of parts to redo all this entire truck, but the leak was too bad and the shipping is too slow, so here we are. And anyways, so what I did, I was able to find these O-rings because it looks like everything's a universal fit. So for the outside O-ring, I'm gonna go with a 55, which is 5/8 OD 7/16 ID, and then obviously you can read the number 35, and right here is the original, this one, and here is these Everbilt O-rings, so a little bit thicker. And the reason why, here's the original size, is 11/16 OD, but I went with the 55 on this because of the thickness of the O-ring, that if you stretch it out a little bit to get over this fitting, then it's gonna, by expanding the O-ring, it's gonna stretch it and make it not as wide, so it'll fit down into the turbo better. And then these plugs, it was a cute idea, but it didn't work. I was going to be putting this plug into the black hose, so I didn't get a shower of coolant, but I think you just gotta either drain it or throw a catch pan under your turbo, and that's what I did. It's really not that bad. Alright, got my hose pushed up out of the way. Tried to clean that end up as well as I could. I threw some grease in there, put the snap ring back in there, whatever you guys want to call it, retaining clip. And I'm just going to thread it back up into the turbo right there, and try and get it to go in there. And so far that's looking good. Crossing my fingers I don't have to mess with that, but at least I know what I'm up against if I have to, so not a big deal. Alrighty, so we're back. I got my fitting in, and I didn't realize it, but guys, I was struggling this whole time. So I will be able to get, where is it? I can't even see it. How are you gonna see it if I can't see it? I will be able to get, this doesn't clip in to the Jiffy Tight. It is held in place by this bracket. So this one with the flared end, it clicks, it clips. So when you hear that snap, you're in there. This guy, it just fits in, and then you secure it with the nut. But since that just happened, I said I wasn't gonna mess with it since it came out so easy. Guess what I'm doing? I'm gonna pull it out. All right, so I finally got her buttoned up in there. It is now nighttime. Lining this back up is a lot harder than you'd think it'd be. Kind of what I found was that I got that end on the block put in first, right here, and then I tightened up the bracket right back here. And then for this, I was able to line it up back in here. And then I took like a long breaker bar. I placed it kind of right in between here, and then on the back of the hose. And then I used leverage, and I just slowly wiggled and pried, and then just it popped in eventually. But I mean, it took me 2 hours to discover that, so I feel pretty silly. That'll save you a lot of time. Alright, while I'm down here, I think I would try and show you. I'm plagued with the classic EcoBoost. symptoms. But I can even see it right back here. I have, nope, sorry, hard to see through the screen. I can't get my hand up there, but right on there, the exhaust manifold, I have a broken stud. So I believe there's one I saw on the passenger side. This is the driver's side, so I'm gonna order some, and I've heard BD diesel. So Bravo Delta Diesel, bddiesel.com. Man, they got a pretty good sweet deal going on. I'm gonna go with them.